pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, fellow Americans. Here once again to inform what's happening. God bless you all. And God bless my country eternally, like I always say. So this is what's happening here in the news today. Oh, before that, always request and never forget that Roger Stones should be freed. There's no reason why Roger Stone should be in prison. Here's the number to call. I guess the phone doesn't want to cooperate with me today. I turn it, don't touch it, and it just goes off by itself. I guess a poltergeist or something. Well, this is the number to call. Let's flood those numbers and request that Roger Stones be freed today immediately. It's 202-456-1414. Pelosi and all her followers and all the rest of them, all the Democrats, almost all of them should be in prison, not Roger Stones. The one who have committed treason, the one who have lied, the one who has conspired against the country, and even against our own duly beloved elected president, Trump, has been the Democrats. They've lied through their teeth. They committed acts of treason. It started from Hillary, Obama, and Clinton, and I mean Bill Clinton. So let's go to the news. Before I go to the videos, like I said, I stayed away now from the Tea Party news and News Thud, which is another great conservative source of news, because I'm realizing that the videos are doing the same thing. They're informing just the same as these written notes from these two conservative sources of information. So I just decided to eliminate that, go to the videos. I'm just gonna read one because I have to inform. This comes from the religion of peace. Look at what this Grand Mufti of Libya says. Suicide bombings are allowed by Sharia law. Okay? Those are the same people that are here in the United States. All those mosques should be closed down and all of them deported. We're dealing with a criminal organization hidden under a so-called religion. And they call themselves religion of peace to even spit on our faces and believe we're that stupid. Well, there is a part of us, the population that are that stupid. They're called Democrats. No, well, not stupid. It's that they're evil, just as evil and just as treacherous. But they're the ones, like I said, the ones that should be in prison, and these other organizations which hide themselves behind a so-called religion to commit crime and terrorism, and threaten us, and threaten our Constitution, and threaten our way of life. They should be gone. I don't care. I don't care how moderate the people say they are. I don't want them here. I don't think anybody with a sense of logic wants them here anyway, unless you're treacherous and you only want to fill your pockets with the money they'll give you in order to buy your conscience, like the Democrats do. I think this is from Dr. Stevens. I love Dr. Stevens. I think this is from him. Let me see if I can get. Okay, the video doesn't want to download for some reason. I can't do anything about that. Let me try it one more time. Oh, okay. It came down. I guess it was uploading.
Ultra-liberal colleges really are collapsing. As we're talking about on today's video, again, this is no exaggeration or hyperbole. A number of articles have been written pointing out that our higher education system is currently fighting for its very life and losing. So we're going to take a look at the dire situation, particularly for small liberal arts colleges, which are predominantly liberal. We're going to look at some stats of college closings before the coronavirus and why we should see the closings of more and more of these colleges as just more indicators that we are indeed entering into a new conservative age. You're going to love it. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Wonderful to be here with you as always. If this is your first time here at this channel, we post 2 videos a day analyzing current events, analyze some super awesome conservative trends so you can live in the present in light of even better things to come. So if you haven't already done so, right, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. It'd be an absolute privilege to have you as a regular part of this channel. You're going to love this worldwide community where we daily celebrate together the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism, the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. Now, before we get into the collapse of so many of these, indoctrinating meccas of left-wing globalism, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's the Backup Solar Bank. In the midst of this whole emergency situation that we find ourselves in, one of the best things that you can invest in for your protection when the lights go out is what's called a solar power bank. It's a backup power bank that's powered by the sun. It allows you to charge up to 2 devices at once, and you'll never have to waste money on batteries again. Think about that, right? Now, limited supply lasts, and this is a very last chance to get yours at a discount before they sell out. So don't wait. Click on the link below right now and give you and your family the gift of power anywhere in the world. Click on the link below or visit backupsolarbank.com. Use promo code TURLEY15 to get 15% off. You'd be glad that you did. All right, USA Today has a fascinating article on the current demise of left-wing colleges and universities, particularly small liberal arts colleges, which are often the worst. The article notes that this is a season when small college campuses across the nation are supposed to be full of potential students, peering into classrooms, spending a night in the dorms, going to the faculty meetings, anything else involved with your customary college visits. I've done a couple with my daughters. It's actually a lot of fun. But instead, college campuses are, of course, empty as we speak. And so all of the college campus visits thus far have been virtual. They've been online, which may have a dramatic impact on enrollment in small liberal arts colleges across the nation. As another USA Today article notes, the simple fact is that the coronavirus has, in many respects, rendered the future of higher education in America increasingly uncertain. Now, of course, most classes are being held online currently. Dorms have been emptied. They may not open perhaps for the whole of next year since colleges simply don't have the medical facilities and resources that could handle another possible outbreak. In fact, if the requirement for social distancing remains in effect into the next year, college campuses may be nothing more than ghost towns for the foreseeable future. This has many academics and administrators frankly panicked, since we have to understand that liberal arts colleges were already in dire straits before this virus. I don't know if you knew this, but things have been so bad for small liberal arts colleges, the vast majority of which, of course, are radically infested with left-wing cultural Marxism. But things have been so bad that a Harvard Business School professor actually predicted that by the year 2030, okay, and keep in mind this was before the coronavirus, but by the year 2030, just a mere 10 years from now, the higher education bubble will completely burst, and as many as 50% of all colleges will close their doors permanently. Again, we're not talking, a century from now or 50 years from now? We're talking a mere 10 years. Now, this was coming from the Harvard business professor named Clayton Christensen. And he predicted, I think it was just in the last year or so, I think it was a 2019 prediction. He predicted that upwards of 50% of all colleges and universities will close or go bankrupt in the next decade. Christensen argued that virtually all colleges are using a business model that can't even remotely keep up with all the technological and telecommunicative innovations that we've seen over the last 10 years or so. And so in order to compete with these online digital innovations, colleges have had to discount their tuition on average by around 50%. Now, any discount that goes past the 35% mark puts the college in a danger zone in terms of paying for its actual expenditures. So right before the coronavirus outbreak, 25% of private colleges were in the red. They were running deficit. They could not pay for their expenditures. Same with public colleges, by the way. Most public colleges have expenses that far outpace their revenue. And so colleges have begun to close their doors in record numbers. And again, this was all before the outbreak, okay? I don't know if you're familiar with this, but every year since 2016, dozens of colleges have collapsed. They've closed their doors permanently. Just to give you a sense of how significant this is, one of those colleges that just recently closed was Green Mountain College in Vermont. Now, Green Mountain College has been around for 135 years, okay? Now, of course, they bought into all the cultural Marxist nonsense over the course of those years, since the 1960s, when cultural Marxism first made its way on the college campuses, and they became a full-blown environmental liberal arts college. But alas, as of last year, for the first time in 135 years, they did not open their doors. In the last few years, I mean, they're not alone. Over 20 private colleges across the country have closed their doors permanently. And even many more are barely hanging on. Take, for example, Hampshire College in Massachusetts. All right, do you know about Hampshire College and the whole controversy surrounding it? How they all went, they got woke but went broke. It was hilarious. It all started back on November 8th, 2016. You know that date, one of the most wonderful dates in history? It's a date that rocketed the globalist world order when Donald Trump was elected the 45th president of the United States, okay? So shortly after President Trump's election, if you can, well, of course you're going to believe it, Hampshire College students demanded that the college take down the American flag as protest from university property. Demand the college actually freaking approved. The college allowed the American flag to be removed from its main flagpole to protest the election of Donald Trump. And according to the New York Times, the flag was subsequently burned. Well, that ignited the ire of a group of military veterans, God bless them, about 400 of which came out and held a protest at Hampshire College as a sign of solidarity and respect for the flag and for veterans. And they came out with their own American flags, waving and demonstrating their shock that a college would allow for such disrespect and disdain among their student body and faculty. Well, since then, the college has imploded in terms of enrollment. They've had to cut 82 positions from their 400-member payroll. And in January of 2019, the Hampshire College president announced that the college was in such financial jeopardy that they wouldn't be admitting a freshman class for the fall of that year. Now, he did get some pushback on that, so the president relented, and he allowed for a freshman class of up to close to 80 students. But when all was said and done, the total incoming freshman class that enrolled turned out to be no more than a mere 15 students. That number for the fall 2009, 15 students, represented an astonishing 94% decrease from the 2018 freshman class. The overall enrollment plunged from 1,200 students to barely 600. But again, it's exemplative of what was happening to left-wing colleges all across the country. And in light of this, the Harvard business professor was predicting that a full 50% of these colleges would be permanently closing their doors in a matter of a decade. And that, of course, was all before the coronavirus. Now, all bets are off. We may be seeing a 50% shutdown in a matter of mere months at this point. Now, why is all of this so important? Well, it's important because scholars have looked into the question as to what makes people liberal, okay? Why do people buy into all of this cultural Marxist nonsense? And what scholars have found is a constant factor among all liberals is the fact that most liberals graduated from college. Now, notice I didn't say that most liberals were educated, right? That's precisely what liberals would say. They would say that, well, conservatives and Trump supporters and Brexiteers, they're basically all uneducated knuckle draggers. I've been told that. I've been told by liberals that what I believe has been decisively rejected by educated people, even though I'm a prof. I was one of the academics that was responsible for educating those people. So we need to be very, very clear here. It's college, not education per se, but going to college that seems to be making the most significant difference in terms of differentiating who's liberal and who's conservative. The studies are out on this, and what we're finding is that those who don't have a college degree are disproportionately more likely to consider themselves conservatives, nationalists, populist. The voter study group found that white non-college voters comprised 2/3 of Trump's base in the primaries and 3/5 in the general election. Among those who claimed that they wanted to preserve their culture and their customs and their traditions and their love of country, 6 in 10 had actually left the educational system during or after high school, and 1 in 8, only 1 in 8 went to college, is coming from studies compiled by Roger Eatwell and Matthew Goodwin. Hillary Clinton lost among whites without degrees so badly that even if she received Obama's turnout among blacks, she still would have lost. During the primaries, Trump won more than 150 counties where at least 8 in 10 people were whites without degrees. Similarly, Brexit was supported by 74% of people without degrees. By contrast, 84% of Brits under the age of 34 with degrees voted to remain. You heard that with the EU, 84%. So what we're finding here is that people who attend or graduate from college are disproportionately more liberal in general. And if that's the case, and if more and more of these leftist indoctrination centers are closing down, we are indeed looking at another indicator that the world promises to become more and more conservative with each permanent closing of their cultural Marxist doors. Now, before you go, we just uploaded a great video. Macron's presidency is on the brink as France has begun to once again explode into riots. You're not going to believe it. It's amazing to say the least. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.
Of all, he's one of the best. He's one of the best. Well, the things I'm seeing here, there's small videos. I'm not going to post all of them. I mean, I'm not going to present all of them, but they're posted in my blog. Eduardo Rodriguez, I pledge allegiance to the flag. That's the way you get into the blog. Let's see what they say here about Nancy Pelosi. No, wait a minute. This lady's terrible. This is from Next News Network, another one of my best sources of news.
In 5-4. Got some more good news for the American worker. Yes, seconds after the Senate approves a huge relief plan, Nancy Pelosi gets nuked by Mitch McConnell in front of millions. I've got all the details. Before I get into that, if you're new here, tap the red button down below to subscribe, then tap that notification bell so you are the first to know when the latest news is published. Colin Rugg, Trending Politics, reports that on Tuesday, the Senate finally approved another coronavirus relief bill after Democrats spent the last week stalling. Yes, that's what Nancy does best. Yes, she has no soul. Yeah, you can see right in those blackened eyes. She has no heart. The $480 billion relief plan includes $380 billion for small businesses, $75 billion for hospitals, and another $25 billion for disease testing. Before the vote, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell spoke about the bill while hammering Democrats for taking so long. Watch.
It's unfortunate that it took our Democratic colleagues 12 days to agree to a deal that contains essentially nothing that Republicans ever opposed. In my view, it's indefensible that Main Street small businesses and their workers had their assistance cut off for partisan leverage. That was the word of choice for one leading House Democrat: leverage. The American people cannot be political leverage. So I'm glad we're now poised to move ahead. Now let's just get this done. Let's move ahead and get it done for the American people.
Political leverage. Yeah, that's all that we are to Nancy Pelosi. There's a crisis, so stuff the bills full of pork and make us wait, make the small businesses wait. Meanwhile, people are literally dying, not just because of coronavirus, but because of the economy in free fall. Families losing their life savings. Businesses going under. Yeah, there's a lot of suicides right now, sadly. But that's just political leverage for Nancy Pelosi with her darkened eyes. Now, President Trump, he did agree with the bill, considering he earlier said on Twitter, "I urge the Senate and House to pass the Paycheck Protection Program and Healthcare Enhancement Act with an additional funding for PPP hospitals and testing." Republicans tried passing a relief bill for small businesses last week. However, it was shut down by Senate Democrats. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi praised the decision from her multi-million-dollar mansion in California as she was showing off all of her gourmet ice cream. Man, Nancy Pelosi. Comment below. We'll see you at the next report. For the Next News Network, I'm Gary Franchi.
Okay, so to the next here. I love it when they rip Pelosi. Let me put another one on Pelosi. This is by Devin Nunez.
That little stunt that Nancy Pelosi pulled on that late night show, showing off her freezer full of ice cream, expensive ice cream. Yeah, leaving a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. Devin Nunez now ripping Pelosi for that little escapade on late night TV. Before I get into that, if you're new here, tap the red button down below to subscribe, then hit the notification bell so you are the first to know when the latest news is published. Emma Colton from Washington Examiner reports that California Representative Devin Nunez criticized the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi for showing off her freezer full of ice cream as U.S. citizens struggle amid the CV crisis. Pelosi went on with the comedian James Corden on his late night show last week, showing a camera more than a dozen containers of ice cream in her freezer. Quote, "I don't know what I would have done if ice cream were not invented," she said, as Americans starved. Devin Nunez decided to go on Fox and Friends and claimed that if a Republican had done the same thing as Pelosi, they would have been pulled from leadership. Watch. Having me on.
What I would say is that if any Republican leader, if Mitch McConnell or Kevin McCarthy or any of our speakers in the past would have done something like Pelosi did, where she's sitting at home in front of a refrigerator with a $24,000 freezer that I don't think too many of us have, except maybe for Griff. I think he may have one.
He might.
But here's the deal: it would be a fatal flaw. I mean, we would boot McConnell or McCarthy out of leadership just like that. They would have been out 4 days ago the minute that popped up. When you have, people, 20 million people unemployed, you have people that can't get paychecks. You just had on the last segment, they can't even mow their damn lawn in Michigan. What the hell is going on? And she's sitting in San Francisco, eating gourmet ice cream. It doesn't fly out in the real world.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi is so out of touch, and it shows. Democrats can get away with anything nowadays, and it's about time we put that to an end. Comment below. We'll see you at the next report. For the Next News Network, I'm Gary Franchi. Thank you for watching that report. In a time of crisis like the spread of the coronavirus, staying prepared is the most important thing. And a great place is to
Go to another one here. Well, let me put this one.
Welcome to the surveillance snitch culture. Yep, that's where we are, at least in some of the major cities in America. After telling illegals that he's on their side, the LA mayor now urging people to snitch on operating businesses. Before I go into this report, if this is your first time viewing the Next News Network, tap the red subscribe button down below. Make sure to hit that notification bell for more. Before I go further, in the year 2020, it's important to keep your body healthy. And stressful times like today can make us age even faster. Collagen may be the closest thing that we will ever get to a real fountain of youth, preventing wrinkles, supporting muscles, and more. After all, collagen is the most abundant protein in your body, and it's essentially the glue that holds you together. So visit my page, healwithgary.com, and purchase the only collagen on the market that I trust. The link is in the description below. Now, back to the news. Christina Favoci for the Western Journal reports breaking the law by being in the country illegally is just fine with the Los Angeles mayor, Eric Garcetti, but cutting hair, serving patrons in a restaurant, and many other everyday commercial activities are apparently such egregious offenses that neighbors are now urged to report violators to authorities. They report here that to combat the spread of CV, the Democrat mayor closed all non-essential businesses in a March 19 safer at home public order, and then he later threatened to take strong action against businesses that don't comply, including, ready for this, cutting off their power, cutting off their water. On Friday, Garcetti tweeted a recorded video statement instructing the public on how to turn in violators of the order and included a handy link to do just that. Here's the actual tweet. We're going to show you this video here. To protect our community's non-essential businesses must remain closed during our safer at home emergency order. That's what the mayor wrote. To report non-essential businesses that are operating illegally, go ahead and visit that link. This is horrible. Didn't de Blasio do the same thing? Yeah, he did. In New York, he said, if you see people who are not practicing social distancing, take their picture and send it in, and then we'll send the reinforcements to enforce the law, enforce social distancing. Can you imagine the madness? You take a picture of a family and the cops show up, tase the father, arrest the mother, put the kids in DCFS. Okay, so now you got the guy here from the mayor of Los Angeles, and then what does he want to do? Well, take a look.
How do I report a non-essential business that's still open and violating the safer at home order? We can only flatten the curve if everyone does their part. And for non-essential businesses, that means closing up shop for now. 99.9% of them have done it. We've seen so many folks adhere to this. And those who we hear about, 92% of them are compliant just simply with a visit from one of our ambassadors or a phone call. But those that do not act, we will take action again.
Our ambassador, that's a nice word to use. Do you mean police?
Our city's business ambassadors come in, and if a non-essential business is refusing to comply with the order, city workers and volunteers from our crisis response team are joining with LAPD in obtaining voluntary compliance with our directive.
Voluntary compliance. Oh, that's the government word they always love to use. You must voluntarily comply, or else. You are as free to do as you're told, right?
Actually issue warnings. If necessary, we share information on recurring non-compliant businesses with law enforcement, and if necessary, take charges against them through our city attorney's office. So you can report those non-essential businesses that are operating illegally at coronavirus.lacity.org/business violation, or call 311 and let us know.
How about we go ahead and use that link to report government business? Yeah, the only thing non-essential in this whole thing is government. Maybe we should start by reporting LA County government officials, right? They're right here. The law and order approach is in the stark contrast with how the mayor has treated the problem of illegal immigrants in his city. On February 14th, he tweeted a recorded statement on the matter along with the police chief, Michael Moore, not that Michael Moore, and took great pains to reassure illegal immigrants that the city would not enforce immigration laws. We have another clip. Oh boy, let's see what this one's about.
Guys, I want every Angelino to know their rights and how to exercise them. Remember, you have the right to remain silent. You don't have to open your door to an ICE agent that doesn't have a warrant signed by a judge. You have the right to speak to a lawyer before signing any documents or speaking to law enforcement. And if you need help finding an attorney, you can call 311 and learn more about our Justice Fund and other resources that offer legal support. And whenever possible, keep a record of everything that happens. Take note of an officer's name and that.
How funny is that? That offer illegal support. They know straight up that they're advising people on how to break the law. And then you got to report non-essential businesses.
Number of when and where you're being questioned, so you can use that information in your own defense. And most importantly, I want you to know you do not need to be afraid. Your city is on your side. And rest assured, here in Los Angeles, we are not coordinating with ICE.
Our police force does not do the job of federal law enforcement. So I want to reiterate what the mayor just said. The Los Angeles Police Department is not assisting ICE in any way. We will not enforce immigration laws that are civil in nature and that fall under the jurisdiction of the federal government.
Okay. There you have a couple of non-essential employees right there, right? Now, this was in response to President Donald Trump's increased federal resources to crack down on illegal immigration in so-called sanctuary cities. That's according to the LA Times. If only Giorgetti were so kind to businesses trying to stay afloat during the shutdown. Comment below. We'll see you at the next report for the Next News Network. I'm Gary Franchi.
Thanks for sticking around. You know, the coronavirus has us all stressed out, making us age even faster than before. Our skin's...
You know, it's terrible to see people like AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, instead of trying to help the country, they're going against us. They're going against the laws, like this governor from Los Angeles, I think he said, or mayor. I don't remember what he really said. I think he said mayor of Los Angeles. And the governor of California, and of Virginia, and of New York. You know, these people are against our country. You know, we're going into a crisis, and they're not helping in any way. You know, the communist views is to destroy America. Pelosi is just, you know, they're spitting in our faces. Oh, and then they're laughing about it because she's smiling and all this and very nice and, you know, very happy. You know, they have no compassion for the suffering of our people. We need to vote against them. If not, you see what's happening. If you want more of that, which I doubt, vote for Trump. Trump is the solution, not the Democrats. They're trying to do is just sinking the ship. That's all they're doing. That's all they're doing. They don't care. The communists don't care. The only thing they want to do is rob, pillage everything you got, as long as they're safe and they're okay. Economically, they don't care. Look at Pelosi's example. You know, they don't care. She doesn't care. She doesn't care about the people. Okay, this will be it for today. God bless you all. Donald Trump, I always pray for you and your family. The same for Mike Pence. God bless you. And I always pray that God protect you and your whole family. The same thing I say for Israel. I always say I stand with God and Israel eternally. And I always pray for the liberation of Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, North Korea, China, of this evil precept of communism, which is here in the United States already, taken over. They have taken over the Democrat Party. together with terrorists like the Islamic faction. You have to vote them out. Not one of them should be in a position of administrating our country. So God bless you all, and see you next time. Bye-bye.